Hello, everybody. Welcome. Another great session, even though we haven't done it yet.
Oh, no. Great job.
It's great. Yeah, great job, everybody. Well done. Well done. Yeah.
All right, good work.
That's
Good work.
it.
Thanks.
We'll
be back next week.
Yeah. Well, yes, welcome everybody to another Game on Oz weekly show here. And tonight we've got MightyBlueJustice, who some of you might recognise from our show, The Community Meta, which is on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment. But we thought, Stormy and Pete can't make it tonight.
I just got to cast pods, man.
That's it. You got to pass them pods. Get those casts on the pods. Yeah, that's it. But thank you so much for coming tonight.
No worries. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Sure, we're going to have lots of good fun. And yes, Gamma, thank you so much for that 39-month sub. That's crazy.
That's like 3 Twitch babies.
I know.
You could say it's getting kind of serious.
You know what's crazy? That's not even that big. It's like one of our community members, Sticks, has like 50 months.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
That's a lot of stickers on the back of the car.
It really is. It really is. I feel we should do that. Like get him a sticker or something, and something, because that's a lot of money.
I subbed to Goa for 4 years, and all I got was a sticker.
But yes, tonight we got some good stuff coming along. We got our bloody good games of the week, which we'll talk about in one moment there. But also, Gamescom's been going overnight, much.
Yeah, those Europeans really know how to play video games.
That's it. There's so much information there that we cannot wait to share with you. But I figured let's just jump into it, eh? Let's get into some bloody good games of the week.
Sounds
so,
good.
What
have you been playing this week?
I have been playing a game called Lost in Play, and I did a review on GameOnOz.com, and this game is just such a cool little game, and its whole premise is you're playing as these two kids, and everything's in their imagination. So if you're watching on twitch.tv/GameOnOz, you'll see that the girl's got a helmet on and just made a cardboard and chasing him, but eventually it turns into this like we're watching now. It turns into real imagination stuff.
I see. I think they talked about this one last year at one of the Game Awards.
I wouldn't be surprised, and it is just such a lovely little game, and it's a puzzle game, but it's just all designed so that without speech or anything in there. So the characters themselves speak this little sort of almost simish, gibberish type stuff, but all the game communication is like in pictographs and through character shrugs or whatnot. But yeah, it's just this really awesome little puzzle game, and I just really love the animation and the imagination that's gone into it, because it's basically like your old point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah, it looks very. It reminds me a lot of those the old Monkey Island games.
Yeah, that's very much what it reminded me of as you were going through, and you would get stuff, and just random items would interact, and they would do it in weird ways. So there's some puzzles later on where I'll go, okay, well, this is going to be the solution. We need to get this and do this, and this will happen. And I got this and did this, but that didn't happen, but it still got me the result I needed type thing. It's very humorous. It's like just...
With every puzzle game you play, you solve the puzzle and you're like, wait, am I an idiot?
Yeah. Actually...
the first couple of levels of Portal, you're like, is this it?
Yeah.
Did I do it? Am I smart?
Did I do the Portal? Yeah. But it's funny because I think I sat through this and played through it in about 4 to 6 hours. Okay. So it's a nice little indie game, which just quietly I love. I've gone away from playing those big AAA titles that take 70, 100 hours plus.
There's only 4 or 5 of them a year these days.
Yeah, but even so, I look at it.
That great.
No, well that's it. But I look at it and I go, I just don't have. Even stuff like Spider-Man Remastered, as Gamma said, just come out on PC. I look at that and go, I don't really want to sit there for that long. And these little indie titles, which are really cool and I can knock out in a couple of sittings, that's great for me. And this is one of them. And I must admit, while I was going through doing the puzzles in this, part of me, because I really do like the puzzle games. They're my jam. I like them. And I was going through the puzzles, and most of them were... It took me a little while sometimes, but I got through them pretty easy. And then I was sitting there watching a streamer play this the other night, and I'm going, either I'm really good at puzzles or this guy's really bad at them.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm going to choose that I'm really good at puzzles.
The curse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, oh yeah, I found this game really interesting. I'm going to go on. I'm going to see what other people on the internet are doing with this, and you're watching it, and it's like shouting at the refs at the ball. You're like, come on, like just give the bear the ball.
I literally was like, I'm sitting there going, how can you not see this solution? Like all the information is right there. You just but it's a cool little game, and I can highly recommend Lost in Play from Happy Juice Games. I think I want to say they're like Israeli, or they're like sort of that almost Middle Eastern bloc sort of thing. So non-English speaking backgrounds anyway. And so just the way they've made this game is just it's amazing, and just the story it tells through it. It's good. The only thing I wish it did more was like we saw a little bit earlier how they were in the real world, and now they've gone into the imagination world, and I wish it kind of did that swap a bit more. But the later stages are all in the imagination world, so which is not a bad thing. It's just an observation that I liked seeing what they were using in real life to fuel their imagination.
Yeah. Which platforms is this on?
I played this. What did I play this on? Switch, I think. It must have been Switch. So, but I think it was PC. It's available on PC as well. I'm not sure what other platforms it on. But go give it a look. Like I said, it's a really cool little game. Very much like it.
I liked it. Very cute.
Mm. And what about yourself, Mighty? What have you been playing?
Myself? Well, I've been playing many video games, as tends to, but the one that I've definitely no-liked a little bit has been Guilty Gear Strive. So, as some of you may or may not know, Evo's Championships was on in the last fortnight, and Evo's basically world's biggest fighting game tournament. It's out there, and it's not like an invitational one. Literally, if you just turn up, you can enter.
Oh, I do like the idea of that.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's going to be some people that show up and get their asses handed to them.
Everyone's going to do that. But, and they cover a lot of games, because it's fighting games. It's not just. So this is Guilty Gear. I think we've got on the thing here, and it's a 2D fighter, and the developers are Artworks Games, who are the guys who made Dragon Ball FighterZ. So if you like watching anime people fight, then this is a game in which anime people fight. But one of the things that's pretty cool about it is they've done a really good job on onboarding players. So, as you know, like fighting games tend to be a bit impenetrable. They can be very intimidating.
If you don't know the combos, then you're out of luck.
Yeah, or like they've all got like combos or small mechanics, or like if you don't know what plus on block means, or reversals, or spark boosts, or all this sort of like all that sort of language, or like or your neutral game for flips or whatever it is. It's like, but there is a whole language unique to the genre. I like this.
Yeah. There's no like in Mortal Kombat where you just get them up against the wall and keep sweeping and they can never get up.
No, there's heaps of stuff you can do to get out of that.
Is it? Oh dang! Don't tell my sister that, or don't tell my younger sister that.
But yeah, there's whole language things to do with it as well. And once you do sort of get into really sort of understanding it, you do sort of get to read the game's a lot better. Like you sort of go, oh well, this is his turn. This the only options he has are these three options. But because everything's going so fast in a game like this, you have to make decisions on like split second sort of stuff. So it's very intimidating to try to get into. This one definitely, I've been enjoying getting my butt handed by the computer in this one.
So you said this game does really well at onboarding people. Yep. How does it go about that?
So there is a tutorial in it, in which they just sort of start off with showing you all the basic. They show you all the basic moves, as well as like the very basic sort of mechanics. So they do introduce everything, and they get you to actually perform as well. So it's like, he's going to attack you, you got to block it. And it's like, okay, and then it's like, okay, now you have to hit him. Okay, but now you have to hit him in this combo. And so they generally have a good system for that. And there is a lot of you can actually go online, and there's a lot of people can record these like combo strings or YouTube credits.
Oh,
so
nice.
You can actually download those to your go, okay, I'm going to practice this character versus this other character. I want to get this matchup in this situation. And practice this combos and stuff. So they have put a lot of effort into making sure that it's easier to pick up.
Yeah. So there's a good training mode in it that you can. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it records your games as well, so you can watch them back, so you can watch your replays and learn from them and all that sort of gear.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I must admit, like, I have not played a fighting game since the Super Nintendo, and like Mortal Kombat and a little bit of Street Fighter, apart from Smash Brothers and Multiverses now, like, which is basically Smash Brothers but with Warner Brothers characters, which is not a bad thing. Just quietly, Multiverses is a fun game, and I can see why it's getting played a lot. But those games are very similar in that you don't. Like, there's not combos, you know, your heavy attacks, your light attacks, and your directional attacks. Whereas these ones, it's like everybody knows, like, the quarter circle forward for fireballs from Ryu and Ken and that sort of stuff.
Punch.
That's it. Or,
it is. They do a pretty good job of trying to. Because before this one, most of the fighting games that I played was Tekken. It's a 3D one. And same story. You open it up, you open your character, you go into training mode, you open the command list, and then you have a heart attack.
Or you find the one character, because I'm not sure if it was Tekken, but there was Yoshimbo?
Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu, yeah.
He's in Tekken and Soul Calibur.
Yeah, and you just sit there and, like, basically spin and spam the one attack and hope that they don't know how to counter it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So there's quite a few characters. It's the weird thing with fighting games. It's obviously most fun when you're playing people who are around your level. Like, so if you start a game with a friend at the same time and you're both kind of exploring it, that's all good. You can have your fun. And then once you start to, then there's like a point where you have to go, how all in am I on this?
Yep.
Because now, if I want to take my game up, I'm going to have to put some time in and practice. Not just like, I'm just going to boot up the game and play.
Yeah.
You have to go, I need to work on my input clarity so I can get the dragon movement, or I need to make sure like me, I'm terrible at guarding. Like, love dodging.
What's guarding?
Yeah.
It's like Mario Kart. What's brakes? I don't use brakes. They're not needed. It's unused buttons.
Brakes make you go slower. Why would you want that?
That's exactly right. So is there like a ranking system? Because you mentioned like...
Yeah, they've got online ranking system, and their matchmaking and their netcode for a fighting game has been regarded as really good.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not sure what it's like nowadays, but when it was released, their netcode was really good, but also their matchmaking was actually very good. Because what was happening, you know, what normally happens, right? You go, I'm having fun playing this video game. I'm gonna hop online and see how I go, and then you get wrecked.
Yeah.
and then that's like your life, and then you have to decide, is it, you know, like, is the pain part of the fun for me?
Yeah.
You know,
it's not pain; it's challenge.
Exactly. So they, and in this case, their matchmaking was really good, and they had a lot of their players were actually playing against players that are around a similar level, so you weren't just getting. It was much less often that you would just get like demolished by a guy, and it was just so far above your level.
Gamma asked, would that be rollback netcode? I'm not sure what that is.
I can't remember the specifics. I'm sorry. Someone did mention something about it, but I don't remember if they mentioned it in good or bad.
Yeah.
But it did. I do remember this game got some fair praise when it was last.
I must admit, looking at it on the screen here, it looks pretty cool. I'm especially liking, like, it's 2D to start with, and I'm a fan of the 2D fighters, because, like, and this is going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but like back in the day, like probably about the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 era, where they've gone, we can do 3D games now. Everything has to be 3D, and
not all of it needed to be.
No, that's right. And there were some truly terrible games that came out from really great 2D platformers and stuff like that because they decided that they wanted to go to 3D. But looking at a lot of the stuff in this Guilty Gear, it's sort of pseudo 3D because there's bits where the combos end and all of a sudden they get smashed to another arena.
Yeah,
and
so it's made in Unreal Engine, and they pretty much built. I think for this one, they sort of rebuilt most of their animation system for it. So it's got the art style very similar to Fighterz. So if you like Dragon Ball Fighterz, but you don't want to play as Goku, Blue Goku, Red Goku, SSJ2 Goku. Like their rosters, it's all the fan favorites, but it's like, there's like 6 Vegetas, man.
Yeah, that's it.
You could have a whole team of Vegeta backing himself up. It's like the meme with Obama giving himself a medal,
Yeah. But no, it looks really cool. I like the look of it. I like the what it's trying to do there. So that's a bloody good game of the week, and that's
a bloody good game.
Yeah. So that's both our bloody good games of the week, thanks to Aussie Broadband bringing some bloody good broadband across Australia right there. So let's move on now and let's talk about Gamescom, because the opening ceremony for Gamescom happened overnight, and there was a heap of trailers that dropped. They
were pretty pacey with them, I got to say. I was surprised how quickly they went through them.
Yeah, well, I must admit I was a little bit as well, because the opening show was run by Jeff Keighley, which I must admit, when it comes to stuff like the Game Awards and Summer Games Fest, half of that feels like paid advertising to me, which it probably is, if we're being honest here. But
Game Awards, more like the game adverts.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. And don't get me, there was a couple of like little awards that they gave out, and I was happy to see Metal Hellsinger win an award. I can't remember what it was, but
most wanted game for Xbox.
I want it, because it's on my list to get. I don't buy a lot of games these days. A lot of my games come from Game Pass or from review copies that I play. But that one I'm going to go out and buy, because I love the idea of, there was a game called BPM, but that was more a roguelike, and I'm not a fan of roguelikes. I don't like it. But this one is just like, it's Doom with that same sort of musical energy, but the beat matters, and it just I'm all in on that one. But there's a few more interesting ones that came out of there as well. One in particular that, when we were talking about it in the pre-show that we were doing, we both brought up, and that one's Moonbreaker.
Yes, Moonbreaker.
I just really love this one, because it's all like miniature combats sort of stuff, and it just looks super interesting, and I just love that you can paint your own miniatures in this game.
Yes. So this one is by a company called Unknown Worlds, who you might know for a little indie game called Subnautica. Very small. Just a small one. It's really hard to find on the internet these days. Subnautica. And prior to that, they made Natural Selection 2, which is a sequel to a Half-Life mod. Now, this one I think is really... This one's definitely going to... For me, it scratches a lot of my turn-based tactics itch. Like, I'm big XCOM, big on those sort of turn-based tactics games. And this one's definitely gonna hit those buttons for me. And I actually quite like how they animated the characters, where it actually looks like a tabletop. Like a lot of times in another universe, I might actually be like good at painting miniatures, and I would have gotten right into Warhammer, the minigame, the tabletop, the minigame, and all that sort of stuff. But then, a cold hard dose of reality hit when it was like, hey, would you like to pay $50 for like 6 plastic men and $8 for 3 mils of paint? Oh, by the way, you got to paint them yourself. And being the person I am, I'm more interested in like mechanical interactions. So having to sit and paint was like not quite my jam, which is why I started getting into like just the Warhammer games and books and things like that instead of the actual tabletop. Yeah,
I got to admit, for me, it was like, I used to buy a lot of clipped together models when I was a kid. Like, they were all Star Wars ones, and I remember I had this A-Wing model that it was the first one I tried to paint, and after I painted it, it looked so bad, and I've just gone, I'm not painting any of these again. They're just going to keep this like gunmetal grey colour from the plastic.
And you just leave that one like stuck somewhere like in your bathroom mirror or something as like a reminder.
Like,
never ever try this again.
No, man, I used to and I don't know how my parents let me get away with this, but I would like push things into the ceiling and like string up all my models with fishing wire.
Oh my god!
So like I had like a battle scene happening on the roof of my bedroom.
That's
man.
nuts.
Yeah.
That's
it goes
so
with
cool.
all the posters I used to get from like the Nintendo magazine system in blue tack all over the wall that Mum and Dad hated whenever I tried to move them around and big chunks of paint came off. But
that's
but
amazing.
Sorry, that was another little tangent there. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah, like Moonbreaker, just it's a different sort of game. Like we have seen some of these games, like XCOM. I think had a release recently, and by that I mean the last couple of years.
XCOM Chimera Squad, which came out in 2020,
there we go.
right in time for COVID.
Yeah, that's a couple of years ago. That's good. But also like the Mario and Rabbids games.
Yes, Mario and Rabbids. There's also Phoenix Point, as well as Xenonauts, which are all like other games similar. Either similar people have made them or have been inspired by. Like the Xenonauts games are inspired by the XCOM games from the 90s, which are definitely different from the XCOM games from the last 10 years.
But also another one that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about, and I must admit I wasn't super excited about it, but watching this trailer has actually gotten me excited for it, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. I'm quite. I kind of want to play it. The story it seems to be building in there seems pretty cool, and just the combat seems good. Even like, and surely they've got to make a good Harry Potter story after like I didn't read the books. The movies were good. I like the movies. Let's get that out of the way. But Fantastic Beasts has not been the best. We're going to put that out there, and having a good story in Hogwarts Legacy, I think, and just even stuff like if you're watching at the moment, it seems like there's. Well, the way they just split the screen kind of seems like there's choice involved. And I like any game that gives you choice and gives you those branching story paths, but not like the Until Dawns and the Quarry sort of games where there's still gameplay, but your choices affect what happens in the game, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this one, they're fighting zombies. So it's got zombies in it, makes it a zombie game as well.
That's it.
So if you like Left 4 Dead, you like Hogwarts.
That's right. And it does sound like they're going to like some Slytherin stuff. So like they're dodgy. I know enough about Harry Potter to know don't trust Slytherins.
Oh no, yeah.
But yeah, look, it seems like a pretty cool game and coming out February next year. I did like I think because I noticed with Moonbreaker that was early access end of September.
End of next month.
Yep, so that's pretty close as well.
Yep,
so.
Very close. There's actually a couple that were a lot closer than I thought. Because as you know, we're coming down towards the second half of the year, otherwise known as Broke-tober.
Yeah,
all the video games come out.
Well, that's another issue they get in. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of big titles. Like a lot of them have just been pushed back, which is good. I would prefer a polished game and a late game than just a game that comes out and full of bugs. Cyberpunk, I'm looking at you.
But tell us what you really think.
I know. Oh, don't worry. I'm not shy about coming forward.
Show me on the screenshot where Cyberpunk hurt you.
So there was that one, and also one like I'm keen for. I didn't actually play the original of this series of games, but the new Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes. Now I loved the original Tales from the Borderlands. It was really interesting because they go, oh, why don't we take Borderlands, which is a franchise that's really big for shooter fans and looter fans. If you like Diablo and if you like guns, then probably you like Borderlands. And then they really knocked it out of the park with 2. And then when they announced Tales from the Borderlands, everyone was a little bit like, what are these guys doing? But I actually really liked Tales from the Borderlands. I think it's the best Borderlands story that I've sort of experienced.
Well, I think it helps as well because I think the first Tales from the Borderlands sort of followed like a background character in the Handsome Jack era, and Handsome Jack sort of made an appearance. Didn't he?
Yeah. So it was set after 2, but it was. It was set after 2, but Handsome Jack was still there via a plot point that was introduced in the pre-sequel.
Oh, okay.
And so he's there, sort of, not there. It's actually really similar to Johnny Silverhand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's very similar to that story.
For those who want more cyberpunk.
Yeah. Yes, but the actual telling of the story and it being a cohesive story, I found it a lot more interesting than when you play the game. Because when you play the games, it's like you get your guns, you run over, you talk to the exclamation mark, they tell you what the story is, and then you go do it.
You get there, exposition, and then you go kill the thing.
Yeah, it's not like in the Left 4 Dead games, for example, where like your characters sort of work it out amongst themselves as they're traveling. Sort of thing. Pre-sequel tried pretty hard to move away from that, and then whenever 3 came out, they just gave up on that.
Yeah,
and just decided, let's be not good.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't finished.
Why make good game when you can make bad game?
I haven't finished 3 yet, but like I kind of enjoyed it, and I've got Tiny Tina's Wonderland there as well that I played for a bit, and I need to get back into that as well. But I like the.
3's gameplay was really good, but 3's story felt like an insult.
Oh, okay,
I have to say, it was by the end of it, it was like, I was like playing it. I was like no-lifing it just so I could be over and done with it. The DLC for 3 was really good, and all the side quests for 3 really good. The main story was just a thing that happened.
Yeah, I feel at the moment like it's been that long since I started Borderlands 3 that I would have to like start a new game so that I knew what was going on.
You could, or you could just blitz through it and skip all the cutscenes.
No, I could, but nah.
It's not the worst, but it definitely could have been a lot more. Yeah.
But I feel like with the all the humor that was put into the Borderlands series, that it really fits well with like a Tales from series, and
one
especially
of the Borderlands moments is that I sort of have had is in Tales from the Borderlands. So yeah, I definitely think that the sort of the humor lends itself a bit more as part of a story rather than because it's hard to make it as a part of a gameplay thing. Unless it's like, look at the funny ragdoll, or that one mission in Borderlands 2, I think, where you just come across that psycho who he's like shoot me in the face.
shoot me. That's the whole mission. Or the one where Handsome Jack somehow convinces you to walk off the edge of the cliff.
It's very meta, isn't it?
But so that'll be one to look forward to. So October 21st for that this year. So that's only a couple of months away.
Yeah, so you can go nuts on the Moonbreakers beta and then play Tales from the Borderlands.
Actually, and there's one I know our editor-in-chief, Royce Wilson, a.k.a. Zulu, will be very happy with, and I'm very happy with, because I absolutely adore the theme park games. Didn't play a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon, but just the sort of the theme park building stuff. And this one is Parks Beyond, and just being able to build a theme park, man. I am down for that. And just all the different bits and pieces in there, like being able to control the angle of the roller coaster, and this is going to scratch an itch that I haven't had for a long time.
There's another one out at the moment. I think it's called Parkitect.
Okay.
I think it's something similar. There's definitely a more modern version of like the roller coaster style games out there. Unfortunately, it's not in my brain.
No. I haven't seen anything like this, and it's funny because we were talking about it with Zulu a while back, because there was a game he was playing or reviewing, and I forget what it was, but it was basically the movies. You remember the game The Movies?
I do. I owned the game The Movies.
I did, and the stunt pack as well.
Yeah.
But so there was a newer one, and sort of an updated version of that coming out as well, which looks really interesting. So I do like this ongoing thing of revival of older genres of games.
Yeah, they're just making money off your nostalgia now.
Mate, Nintendo.
And I am here for it.
I was going to say, Nintendo have been doing it for years, and I still keep coming back there.
And they still don't have Twilight Princess on the Switch.
No. In fairness, it was on... It got... Actually, here's some trivia for you. Okay. So... Twilight Princess was a launch title for the Wii, but it also came out on the GameCube.
Yep.
But the what happened was that when it came to the Wii, Nintendo went, most people are right-handed, but Link's left-handed.
Yes.
And they go, how are we going to fix this? They scratch their heads, and then somebody went, I've got it. Flip the map. Just mirror everything.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it's why if you play in play on the GameCube, Kakariko Village is on the right-hand side of the map.
Yeah.
But if you play on the Wii, it's on the left-hand
Yes.
side of the map
Yes.
because they just went, let's just flip everything
Yeah.
and make Link right-handed. But yeah, look, I'm excited to see that. There was a few other titles that I was excited to see coming. I'm interested to see what they do with Dune Awakening. Like, I like the idea of a game set in the Dune universe.
Yes. So it is a game set in the Dune Awakening universe, but it's got. Are you ready? Let's get your bingo cards out. It is a open world survival MMO.
Like anything with survival, and it just sort of makes me go. Oh.
Now,
Because if I'm playing a game like that, I don't want to have to focus on keeping my character alive.
Press F to drink.
Yeah,
So
or
every 10 minutes.
It's what put me like because this is going a long way back. I loved the first Far Cry game.
Yeah.
Absolutely adored it. And then in Far Cry 2, it was the one in Africa, I think,
Yes.
where you got malaria really early on and you were constantly having to dose yourself with malaria medication or you died. And I played that for like half an hour and went, I hate this mechanic and just stopped playing it.
Yeah.
So anything where I have to keep the stupid human being alive, because I have enough trouble keeping this stupid human being alive, I'm not in for.
It's a simulation. It's supposed to help you, right? You know, so
I don't play games because I want it to be realistic.
Come on, look, if you could press F to eat instead of actually eating, would you just press F?
Actually, I probably would
Yeah,
because
there you
like
go.
I'm one of those people. I don't particularly care about food. I eat food because I'm hungry, and that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reflex, so much for that raid. Hello, Doom Cutie. Thanks for popping in, guys. Very much appreciate it. But yeah, like if I could take eating out and just press F to eat, and then I would be full, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Or even not even need to eat, just like press F to not be hungry.
Yeah, that's it. I would take that.
Yeah. And have the nutrients you need to continue to exist.
Sonic Frontiers was another one in Gamescom that that caught my eye. Like I'm not quite sure how to feel about it to begin with, because like anytime you get
a Sonic game, it's a bit of a 50-50.
Well, not even that, but like when you get a cartoony style character and put it in a real worldy or realistic setting, like it happened for me in Mario Odyssey when you got
New Donk City.
Well, not just New Donk City, but the dinosaur kingdom
Yep.
one, the Lost Kingdom. I can't remember what it was, but like you've gone from these cartoony Mario graphics to hyper realistic sort of stuff, and I'm sitting there going, I don't quite get that.
It's too weird.
But Sonic Frontiers is looking good. I'm
It
quietly
actually
excited for that.
Looked really the graphics themselves looked quite interesting. I don't know. I'm not a huge Sonic. I wouldn't say that I'm like a massive Sonic fan, but I was a Sega. I did have a Sega. Ooh, so you
One
know
of those people.
You know it's serious.
Yeah.
But the thing that I thought was kind of funny was how when he was introducing the trailer, he stood up and goes, "Oh, Sonic's had a really great year. They had a fun movie."
Yeah.
It's like,
and it is a fun movie, but we're not here for movies. We're here for games. Yeah.
Pretty close on that one.
That's it. Other games, there was Atlas Fallen, which is looking pretty cool for me.
There wasn't a lot in the trailer though.
No,
It was like,
but I just kind of like that fantasy vibe about it. And but generally,
that was the sand one, right?
I think
on
so.
the bridge.
Hang on,
Oh no!
Hang on, let me find out.
Quick. There was quite a couple of games that sort of blended in amongst themselves. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and that one looked interesting to me. I don't know. I've kind of flipped a little bit on High on Life. So this is the one made by the Rick and Morty creator, Justin Roiland.
Okay, so this is different to Atlas Fallen, right?
Yeah,
Different game. Keep up.
Yeah, keep up, people. Jesus, come on. So there's this game, The Guns Talk to You, and it's like that Rick and Morty and Solar Opposite style of humor.
Has it become a bit weird that now you can just hear, like, you don't hear the characters, you hear Justin Roiland?
I hear
like I watch old videos of Adventure Time and I'm like, that's Justin Roiland.
See, I don't hear that. I hear Rick and I hear Morty.
Yeah.
And that's like whatever they're in now. Like even I'm watching Solar Opposites and I forget the name of the lead character in that, but I hear Rick.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'm hearing the guns and I go, that's Morty.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, his little whip multi-tool thing, with, like he's trying an Australian accent.
Oh yeah,
that was.
It's better. It's better than some I've heard.
It's the usual bad American trying to do an Australian accent, but it was particularly hysterical. I do have to concede that one.
And to start with, when I first saw a trailer for that a few months ago, I really liked it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. And then I've watched this trailer again and gone, those guns talking are going to get super annoying. And I'm not as sold on it anymore.
I think it depends. It can really depend because Darkest Dungeon has got an announcer that responds to your actions in game, and they did record enough so that you have to put at least like 40 to 50 hours in before you start really hearing the same stuff over and over and over again. So
and that's what I'm kind of hoping is that
it just really depends on what they do with it,
or that what they're saying, like the guns are there to drive the story as well. So they're almost like your navies or your narrator to let you know, or just give you little bits of I'll get the word soon. Little bits of story as you go along. We got the Callisto Protocol looks good. Yeah, it looks good, but those sort of survival horror games, and this is not a dig at anything in particular, but they're not my sort of game. I can see that it looks good.
It's very Dead Space.
Yeah,
it's kind of a.
Well, I think it's.
To be fair, the trailer was actually a pretty good trailer. It did have real gameplay in it of a person playing the game.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is like, oh my god, give him all the awards.
That's it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But also like Homeworld 3 look really like.
I am actually pretty excited for Homeworld 3. I played a lot of Homeworld and Cataclysm when I was younger, and the re-release was really good. I was really happy for the re-release, especially when they fixed some of the really bad bugs. And there is actually a RTS that's set on in Homeworld as well, which is just on the planets.
Okay.
Nice. Which is it's an RTS.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of RTSs out there. So there's another one you can play. If you really
I feel like there's a lot out there, but there's none that really stick out to me. Like the last one I can remember playing that stuck with me was the StarCraft 2s, like Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void.
See, I was always a bit more of like, I played a lot more of the Relic ones, so I was like your Company Heroes, your Dawn of War, that sort of stuff, and it's like it's very different sort of philosophies too, because those ones you had the squads were like a little bit smart, so you could it wasn't you were microing each individual unit, it was a bit more like the squad itself. Yeah. Whereas I looked at I stood on the precipice of getting good at StarCraft, and I went, I'm watching great players, and I'm not watching StarCraft. I'm watching OCD.
Yeah,
and much as I'd love to be good at a video game, I'm not ready for that in my life.
Yeah, I remember I tried a few times. I was reasonably. I could hold my own in most StarCraft 2 online games, and I remember playing a game once. There's I don't know, kid. I'm going to call him a kid because that's what kind of. What he was saying, he gets in the chat says, "Can we just build for a bit?" And I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, cool. I can do that.
10 minutes, no rush."
Yeah, that's it. And I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, cool. I don't mind taking it easy in this game." And I've played and I've built and then I've expanded and gotten like 6 expansions or something. I think I was playing Zerg at the time and like covered half the map in Zerg creep. Yeah, and then I've gone, I'm sick of this, and like. Basically maxed out my unit limit with Mutalisks. And then I've gone, all right, this time for this to be over, and I've gone, and he's got 1 expansion. And I've just like ripped through him, and in chat has gone, oh dear.
Like, you want to be careful what you're asking for. There was Supreme Commander used to have an option that you could set where it actually have a radius around where you start, and you can't leave that radius, and you can set a timer on that radius, which is kind of interesting. But Supreme Commander was also a streaming economy game.
Was that
so? The problem with that was that the rich got richer very, 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 very quickly.
I'm trying to remember there was a game years ago. I played it at a LAN. Probably early 2000s, and it was like a cross between an RTS and an FPS. So like you had one person who was like, it might have been called Overlord or something.
The Natural Selection or Savage?
No, I don't think it was either of those. But it was 20 years ago. So
maybe Nuclear Dawn.
But either way, like you had one guy who controlled the bases, and your FPS people went out and captured new zones, and then the RTS person could build on. It was really cool. Like it was a cool concept. I thought.
I love that genre a lot, and it's such a thin genre. Like there's very, very few games, and there's even fewer that are good.
Yeah, and I reckon it'd be hard. Because like with a lot of those games, if they don't have the player base, they die off, and that's it.
It can vary too, because it's you've got two competing player bases as well. You've got you guys who love RTS, right? But imagine if you have an RTS where a unit will not do what you tell it to, and in some cases will be verbally abusive to you. You know,
so, hey dude, go and do this.
Yeah, and then on the shooter side, what happens is you need to balance the shooters versus like whatever AI units are in the game as well. So then suddenly, if the AI units are like inherently stronger than a player, for example, then it's like, well, I can't just dominate everything all the time.
I don't think I don't think this one had AI units, so it was like
it might have been natural selection.
Yeah.
Was it like Aliens and Marines?
I can't remember the specifics. Yeah. It's that long ago, and I only played it the once. And but it was fun. Like I didn't know what was going on, but I was having fun.
I mean, that's what you want for a video game, right? Like
that's it.
You know, you need to do that first before you get good.
But yes, Classy Fever. I do remember Total Annihilation. That was one of the RTSs that I played. That and Dark Rain.
Oh, yes.
Love those ones.
Competing. Oh,
yeah.
That's some Romeo and Juliet stuff there, mate. You want to be careful admitting to that.
But yes, I'm excited to see Homeworld 3.
Yes.
And
we did it. We got back on topic.
We did. I got it. I brought it back. Yes. But yeah, like Homeworld 3, like it's going to do my head in with the 3D battlefields, but I reckon that's going to be fun.
At least Homeworld does the concession of making everything have a universal version of up.
Yeah, that's right.
Because when you do a lot of those space games, if they decide not to do that, then it gets really awkward. You're like,
I do remember because like probably about a year ago, I played Empire at War, which is a Star Wars RTS, and it's a funny one because
I quite liked that one.
I did too, but I ran into the problem in inverted commas is that because all your resource generation is done on the overworld, and then in the battles you can just take a massive army and wipe things out.
Yes.
So that was one problem. But where I was going with this was that the space battles just happened on the 2D plane.
Yes.
But I did like
space battles were good.
They were, and I did like that you could
way better than the ground ones.
Oh yeah, but I liked that you could target certain points on the big capital starships, like the engines or the guns or the tractor beams on the bigger ships as well. So that was good. So I can't wait to see what they do with.
So Homeworld's actually, I think it's next year or late this year.
Ooh.
I think it's close-ish because they've been talking about it for a good year or so, just cashing in on that nostalgia.
That's it, yeah.
That's the only weirdness though, is that Homeworld 3, it's not being developed by Relic.
Okay.
So
new developers.
You know, like where's it gonna go? I think it's Gearbox has got it now.
Okay.
So
well, that mean they can do good things, Gearbox.
Yeah,
so
and then they can also make Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
They can also make Aliens Colonial Marines. So you know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there. But like the trailer with the showing off the different units seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually liked one of the things that was in the trailer that looked really cool was there's actually physical things for you to interact with on the maps now. Because in the original Homeworld, everything was there wasn't really a lot of what you'd call like map significance. It was like there might be a nebula that hides your signature, or there might be something that damages you. Resources here, resources over here. You've got this part of the nondescript cube, which is the map, and you've got this nondescript part of the cube, which is the map, and over there is like a bit of wreckage, so you can find your way to each other.
Yeah.
You know?
So you've got a landmark that you know where you are on the map, yeah. But so that looks interesting, in being able to like hide behind junk. So very keen to see that. And I think the last one we're sort of going to call out as ones we're looking forward to is Moving Out 2. Like
Moving Out.
I'm a little bit interested to see where they go in this, like what new mechanics they'll bring to it.
Honestly, if it's anything like Overcooked 2, where it's just you've got this great couch co-op game, and from what I saw in the trailer, they were like, let's take this up to like 11.
Yeah,
I'm down. You know, like you don't need to reinvent the wheel if you have a nice simple couch co-op game like that. And
Yeah.
that's more or less
That's
more or
what
less
it is,
Like,
yeah.
it was fun. It's got its quirky sense of humor. I think it might have been developed in or around Australia.
I'm not sure about that.
I'll
Let's
have
have
to
a
check
look.
that one, I think.
Moving out, Debs. Who have we got? Moving out, cooperative. Australian developer SMG Studio. There we go.
That's right. Home pride.
We do love our Aussie devs, just like how we love, and I can't even remember who it is, but whoever makes Cult of the Lamb that's going gangbusters at the moment. Mountain? Massive Mountain, I want to say.
Maybe. I think I installed it the other night, and that's about as far as I've gotten.
But yeah, those are some things that we were looking forward to from the Gamescom opening night live. Massive Monster. Thank you, Menthonzo. So let's have a chat about some of the things that we didn't quite like about this. And I'm going to start you off by mentioning Dead Island 2 gameplay trailer.
What gameplay?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe maybe we're getting a bit close to old man yells at cloud territory here. But it certainly didn't feel like watching that trailer gave me any idea of what it would be like to actually play the game. It looked like they had stitched together a whole bunch of 1 to 2 second clips from your player perspective that might happen in game, which could be fun. But it was like very, very highlight. They honestly could have just done like dubstep, lens flare, and called it a frag movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and I do feel like there was a lot of that, especially for a lot of the like the fantasy style ones, like Atlas Fallen was a bit like that. Yeah,
just a cinematic.
And I guess it's hard, especially when you're talking about those sorts of games where there's lots of interaction with the environment and the game engine might not quite be ready yet, so they don't want to show it off.
There is a lot of games that are getting a lot of press attention probably before they should, to some degree as well. So there was a game called the Anacrusis, which is it's like Left 4 Dead in space with 70s vibes. It's a pretty cool setting, but the game itself was advertised pretty heavily at Game Awards last year. It went into early access early this year, and it needed more time.
Yeah,
Well, I know it's still early access and they're still working on it, but it definitely sort of feels like, why are these sort of titles getting hype trailers?
Yeah, and I always argue, like, if early access is used well, like there was one game I played a while back, Festival Tycoon, which is basically all those tycoon type games where you're running a music festival. I really liked it, and when I first played it, it was a fairly sparse sort of a game, but we went into early access and it had a roadmap, and as you went through and it got updated, it just got better and better. So that was a case where early access really worked well for a game, because they've used the money that they get from that early access to build the game and make it better.
Yeah.
But lots of games, like I'm going to use Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov as an example, because how long has that been played for and it's still in early access?
And especially sometimes you'll get games go in early access and they've got a cash shop.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're kind of like, if you're charging like a live service for this title, I think it can be disingenuous to call it early access.
Yeah.
But there are some games that have a really good approach to it as well. Like Killing Floor 2 had a really good early access because they didn't launch until they had all of their base systems in the game, and the only thing that they needed to add was more content. So the only thing they added after that early access launch was more perks, more guns, more Zeds.
Yeah.
Like it was content that they were adding. They weren't working on systems.
But Menthonzo says about Escape from Tarkov, to be fair, it really is a fully playable game. The only reason it's still early access is because they were releasing new areas still. Well, why can't that be added to a game that's not in early access?
You could just call that
you could just
version 1.2, I guess.
Yeah, like with Among Us. Like, because after it hit big, they started releasing new maps for it.
Yeah, I mean, Among Us is a hard one, though.
But
it was released in 2018.
It was, and there was a very interesting sort of case study in how a game suddenly gets big.
It was literally dead for 2 years.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they were planning to make Among Us 2, and all of a sudden, wow, people are playing our game again. We
Yeah.
should support this a little bit more. I
Yeah,
think.
you know, that's. I mean, and that's. I suppose that's the interesting sort of decision that you're faced with as well. You're sort of like, okay, well, we were going to make a sequel, but now that everyone's already playing the original, are we adding? Is the sequel going to actually change anything enough?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But I mean, Among Us also it was free on mobile. As well. I think the Steam one was only like $2 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't very
cheap.
expensive. I think after they just got that massive influx of players, they just went, yeah, cool, we can bring this down a bit. We don't mind supporting it a bit longer. And in another year or so, we might see Among Us 2. But at the moment, they were honouring the customers that they had, which I do like that they did that.
So, sorry, I tangented a whole lot there.
That's okay.
A single game trailer.
Well, Pete's not even here. But yeah, look.
But yeah, I think that the trailers sort of thing, it's kind of weird nowadays. Like there was a trailer that went kind of viral for the wrong reasons on Twitter the other week about like it was a video game, but there was a girl talking to a bangle or something. It was like a fantasy sort of adventure sort of game, and it was narrated by a girl. And the trailer itself, like. I think there were people who did like edits or supercuts to try to fix the trailer, and the other versions were better. Yeah, and made it look better. But the one that actually got posted ended up getting like deleted in shame from Twitter. But it can be very. I don't know. It certainly doesn't feel like. I remember seeing gameplay trailers that were just 5, 10, 16 minutes of unedited gameplay being played by a person. Now, sometimes the only game that's done it really well was Doom 2016 because they had someone who was good at the game playing it. You know,
all I can remember as well is Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, when that got released because it came with the Wii Motion Plus to give the better motion sensitivity to the Wiimote. And they had Miyamoto himself up on stage and they couldn't make it work. Yeah, it's just like
that's tough.
Oh yeah, good old waggle mechanics. But yeah, it is hard as well. Like with games that you get that are just so big, it's hard to do a gameplay trailer that doesn't look like it's been specially curated and it's just a set piece.
There was another game that was I think it was one of the first games that they did for the Gamescom trailer, which was called Everywhere.
Oh yeah, yes.
I still don't know what that game's about.
No,
like I looked at it and I was like, "Is this a metaverse crypto scam?" Like, it was really.
Has Dr. Disrespect finally gotten his game out?
Yeah, like it's. I don't think it is that. I think it sounds like something they've been working on for a good 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I was reading stuff about it and it said we finally see stuff about this, and I'd never heard of this game before. But
it sounds, but it like, it looks like it's almost. It could. I'll be honest. I don't know what's that. I don't know.
It could be anything.
It could be Roblox for adults.
Yep.
You know, because did you like Roblox is actually one of the most profitable.
I know. And don't get me started on how predatory it is.
Oh yeah.
So anybody watching has got kids. Don't let your kids put money into Roblox or create content for them. They are just so predatory. It is disgusting.
Yeah.
Play Minecraft instead.
So the Everywhere one, I just Everywhere, everything,
everywhere. I don't know. I watched.
We're running out of names for games. Just pick a word in the dictionary. Bam.
Roblox is predatory menthonzo. Like just have a look on YouTube. There's a heap of videos. There was somebody that did a really big.
People Make Games made a two videos talking about Roblox.
Yeah, to the point where Roblox were threatening legal action about all the stuff that they were doing. But yeah, it's it's not the companies that make games for Roblox. It's Roblox itself. It's like it's so predatory and it's money making. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's about it for the Gamescom talk. But I've got a couple of other little things. Having to push this along a little bit because we're coming up to our hour of fun. I know it's gone so quick, hasn't it?
Thank God. I was worried I'd be boring and have nothing to say.
Who would have thought that us two together could talk so much crap? You know? But I put this story up. Not quite video. It's video game adjacent because it's to do with Nintendo.
Okay.
But basically, there was this streamer who he likes old Nintendo stuff. He found a couple of sealed packs of Nintendo playing cards. Yeah. Like,
is this from before they made video games?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see.
We go.
So these were cards that were made in the 50s, and he was so excited. They're sealed, like not just that he got them, they were sealed, and got 2 of them. So he was debating whether he was going to open one on stream and just leave the other one boxed. And in the end, he did. He opened one of them, and you got to understand these cards are just like, they're before all the plastic coating and stuff. And unfortunately, he's opened up this box and all the ink has like seeped through all the different cards. Not actually any damage to the box, the outer box itself, just the cards.
The packaging is fine.
Yeah, but like there was no damage to the packaging. It was just the ink had leaked through all the cards and they've come out in just one thick brick. They were stuck together. And he checked the other pack as well, and it was the same thing.
Oh no!
It's heartbreaking. Like
that's the eternal story of potential, right? You shouldn't realize it because what if it's not that much?
That's it. That's it. It's Schrodinger's Nintendo playing cards. Before you open it, it is both good and not good at the same time. But I mean, you get that sometimes when you're buying things. You don't know how they. And let's face it, the person that he bought these off probably he had them sealed. The seller had them sealed. So why would they think to even open them because they're worth so much more sealed?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, not so much anymore. But I'm not sure what you'd even do with that. You put them back in the box and just sort of leave them there and say, cool, I've got these cards. You can't do anything with them, but I've got them now.
There was a guy who lined the rim of his car tires with magic cards,
really?
like Black Lotus.
Oh, Black Lotus. Why? Please tell me it was actually like a half decent card, not like some shitbox Corolla or something.
Some 4-wheel drive.
For those playing along at home, a Black Lotus card in Magic is like worth stupid amounts of money.
Like, they're about $2 to $4 grand, but they're not tournament legal at all.
No, but they're still. Oh my God! Yeah, some expensive rings, Captain Perth. Yeah, very much so. But yeah, and going on, I think we got 2 more little bits to have a chat about. One, I don't think we're going to spend too much time on, but tomorrow is GoldenEye's 25th anniversary. Yay, GoldenEye!
Oh wow!
Thank you.
Way to make me feel old, Nintendo.
Yeah, no, don't.
Why don't we count from the re-release on Steam though? Like there was a GoldenEye remake.
Yeah, that was the one in because I know they got released on the Wii first, and they totally remade it, and they got Daniel Craig to do the voice.
Exactly. So it's only like what, 10 years old?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was just after Craig had started doing like Casino Royale and stuff like that. But I still hold out hope that GoldenEye will get a release, because I don't know if you remember a few years ago someone had leaked the Xbox Live Arcade version of this, because there is a fully made version of GoldenEye that was meant to come out on Xbox Live Arcade. And it was like exactly the same game, just upscaled, looked beautiful. And
I think that's the fine thing about a lot of like retro games now. It's like, do you remember what 240 by 140p looks like?
Yeah, exactly.
Or not even P, it's I.
Yeah. That's it. And it's just the Nintendo look, going back, it looks terrible playing it on a Nintendo 64. Yeah. It is definitely not as good as we remember. And how do we play? Just
because we got nicer monitors now, get a nice old CRT and you'll be fine.
That's it. But it pops up every now and then because like achievements for it pop up on some websites that troll achievements.
Achievements will ruin the fun for it though. Like, come on, what happened to Remote Mines only stack no odd job? Like, everyone's making their own house rules.
Yeah,
and just like
I don't know. I reckon achievements could still be good for it, depending on what they are. But I hold out hope now, because I remember years and years ago I had a bit of a look into why GoldenEye didn't get another release. So it was a mess of rights to games. So get this, Nintendo hold the license to GoldenEye specifically.
Okay.
Or they did at the time.
As a video game specifically?
As
like
not
movies?
As no to the
are we getting a GoldenEye movie based on the game?
No, we're not getting Street Fighter the movie, the video game, which happened, by the way. Just go and look it up. They made just another tangent, but I have to get this out now. They made when they made Street Fighter the movie, which was based on the video game, they made a video game to go along with it.
Is that a bad one from the 80s?
Yeah, Yeah, the movie itself, if you're looking at it in like a B grade sort of shtick, it's not bad.
Okay.
Right. I quite enjoy it if you're looking at it like that.
It's like Rocky Horror Picture sort of style of enjoyment, you know.
But the video game was terrible, and it tried to do the Mortal Kombat thing of filming the characters so they all look like Guile looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Cammy looked like Kylie Minogue and things like that. But that was terrible. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Okay.
But yeah, so Nintendo own the rights to Goldeneye, the video game.
Yep.
Rare owns the rights to the models that were used. Activision Blizzard own the rights to all Bond games. And so there was like this complicated web of everything. But now Microsoft owns Rare and is soon to own Activision Blizzard.
Yep.
And they're on good terms with Nintendo.
Yep.
If there's ever a time that this is going to happen, it's going to happen soon.
Yep.
Because all the stars are lining up. You've got...
There's some A-grade hopium.
I mean, if Steve and Alex from Minecraft can end up in Smash Brothers and get their own amiibos, you know, there's hope that this can happen. I reckon it could. And especially Microsoft's philosophy of the last few years has just been, let's all game. We all want to have fun.
I mean, it's easy to do that when you lost a console generation after being better the one before. Very easy to go, hey guys, I'm ready to be nice now.
It is, but Phil Spencer turned around the Xbox One. He did the work he did there. That was just amazing. But yeah, that's GoldenEye. Happy birthday for tomorrow. You know what? I was thinking about maybe holding this one, but I do kind of want to talk about it. So there was
unleash your words.
I will unleash my words. I'm even going to switch over so we can see this.
Are you going to tweet on social media?
No, I already tweeted this. So like this is what I saw this, and it's like my most engaged upon tweet ever, really. But basically. There was a post shared by Power GPU about midnight launches, and it said kids today won't experience what a midnight release was. And I never got the appeal of midnight launches. Like they just seemed boring. Well, not boring, but just like I go pick up the game at midnight. Cool, I got the game. Now I'm going to go home and go to bed because I've got to get ready for school in the morning, and my parents will whip my ass if I don't get up.
Hype train.
Yeah, look,
I get the hype
train.
Look, man, you can't wait 6 hours to play that game tomorrow, or like 12 hours. People might play it before you. What if you go to school on release day and little Johnny, who did go to the midnight release, he knows things about this game. Your social capital for that day is down.
Yeah, but if he's
you
at home,
missed out. You do not have stonks.
But
because little Johnny stayed up late. All right.
If little Johnny's at home playing this though, he's not going to be at school, and I'll just pick up my copy after school. And like this is like once again, this is how old I was. MySpace wasn't a thing until I was like almost out of high school. Okay, so that social media wasn't a thing. Kids at school did not have phones. We weren't texting each other to let us know, oh my god, how cool is this game?
You had to print out your strategy guides.
That's right. Yeah, or you'd go and buy a Prima guide, and that would now those things are no good because like a game will get an update and you'll never know. But yeah, like midnight launches for me were just I guess in Perth as well. The only video game shop we had back then was Electronics Boutique, which is now EB Games, and the only shop they had that wasn't in a shopping centre, which the shopping centres wouldn't open for them to do midnight releases, was the one in the Hay Street Mall in the city.
Yes.
So if they were going to do a midnight launch, you would have had to have gone into the city to do it.
Good luck.
Yeah, and I don't remember many of those happening.
They didn't even have trains running after 10.
No, that's right. But I also don't remember any. Like I think maybe one or two midnight launches, but I don't think Perth was really the place for them.
No, Perth, not so much. I don't think, but it's just the hype, you know. Like I can understand why people went for it.
Oh yeah,
I used to be that guy. Who'd be like, you'd go to the shops, you buy the game, you'd be reading the manual in the car on the way home. Like,
I remember getting Ocarina of Time and doing that. Like I've gone and picked it up and opened up with a gold card in there, and I'm reading the manual on the way out. Yeah, but
and then you go and buy Overwatch, and it's like it's a cardboard cut out of a disc with a CD key on it.
Yeah, and look, there were lots of stuff they used to do for midnight launches, like Royce Zulu, posted on the tweet the The midnight launch of Fallout 4 was great, really enjoyed it. You let the game download overnight, and then when he woke up the next morning, it was ready to go. But he also says they're not really relevant now with digital releases, and that's also true. When
I have a story about that.
Oh, do tell.
So there was a younger version of myself many years ago. There's a game called Renegade Ops, and it is a twin stick shooter with cars and explosions. It's pretty good. It's like very B pulp sort of action, sort of driving explosions. It's like that very like 80s action movie sort of testosterone stuff in it. And that one I was looking forward to that video game. And I had the little notification on Steam. It was like, hey, this game's coming out. This game's going to unlock really soon. 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour.
Not that you were counting or anything.
30 minutes. I was. I was really looking forward to this video game. And then another 30 minutes passed. But the game doesn't unlock. Oh no. What's happened? I wanted to play this video game about exploding cars. But it got delayed. And there was just no warning about it getting delayed on Steam or anything. I had to wait another 2 weeks to a month. I can't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a decent delay.
That's a bit crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it came out. It was fun. Had fun. It's a twin stick shooter car thing. It's on Steam. Play it.
Nice.
Got explosions and testosterone. I don't know what else you need.
That's it. It's good. It's like what I tell people about World of Tanks. It's tanks blowing up other tanks. What more do you need? Just play the game.
You need more tanks.
That's it. Well, there's 15 versus 15, so there's plenty of tanks there.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, cool. But I think that's about it. We've gone just over the hour, so that's had some good chats talking about Gamescom and Goldeneye and trailers, gameplay trailers that aren't really gameplay trailers. But thanks for coming along, Mighty. It's been great having you here. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for Aussie Broadband for Bloody Good Game of the Week. And we will see everybody next week.